You can't laugh at that.
There she is.
Okay. She's always so aggressive.
I know. This is a
My
new thing I just
gosh.
noticed like a month ago.
That's never happened to me before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time during Zoom that didn't happen, and just as Zoom is ending, that aggressive robot voice kicks in to let you know every time you're recording. I did another podcast like a month ago. I was like,
Ugh.
People were getting ambushed, but they were like, "Wait, you're recording?"
You send an email or you post something about this. You don't just throw this on people.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was being invaded.
I thought it was finally happening. The singularity.
They found out I was Native American. They're coming after me. There's one of them left.
They're thorough, those bastards.
Why aren't you in South Dakota, Jeremy?
They heard about this. They heard about this fantastic jib I have.
Oh man, rumors of your jib far and wide, but they precede themselves though.
Right.
You want to go to Cleveland? You want to check out the Cleveland sign, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Jeremy's jib?
You gotta see this guy's jib.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that's not something you shouldn't do.
That's how you should advertise your podcast studio.
Yeah. That's getting down.
I'm still mad you haven't followed up on the Year of the Ox. It's his studio's Golden Ox Studio, and it's the Year of the Ox, and you're just like not capitalizing on that right now.
Well, David, what are your ideas? What should he be doing?
All of the Asian things,
Chinese
lanterns.
Oh, that's a great look, man.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should just lay back in the cut and let you mention it on a podcast that we're currently recording, and you're falling right into my plan, which was my plan the entire time. Success to me!
That's why you've got the best jib in the business. It's moves like that.
The best jib in the business, the best segue in the business, and the best podcast studio in the business is Golden Ox Studio. Come on in for the Year of the Ox discount. Record one episode and you get your next 5 recorded for free. Jeremy will actually pay you to come into his studio to record. GoldenOxStudio.com. Check it out.
Jeremy the Jib Demery coming at you. Break it all for you.
Promo code the Jib. I think we need to fill Jeremy in on the Bobby Bonilla day. I'm not even really that into like the intricacies of it, but it's such like a fuck up that like 20 years later, they're finally owning up to it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Bobby Bonilla was owed a bunch of money for the Mets for his contract, but the Mets wanted to defer the Mets because they this Bernie Madoff gets involved somewhere where the Mets make a bad investment with Bernie Madoff, so they can't pay him in one lump sum, so they have to defer the payments. He's been out of baseball for like 20 years, and every year on I think a date in July he gets $1 million from the Mets. Oh, man, it's the coolest thing ever.
With interest too. I mean,
yeah.
so
it's incredible.
Pretty made off with all the money.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. It's like you can't ask for a better name for a better crime. So cool.
That wasn't Bernie got away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, imagine the first people to just like sit around chewing gum. Like that was an activity that people had.
And we'll just chew near each other. Now it's like if anyone's like chewing, you're like, I'll break up with this person. That's so strange.
Now I want to derail because I love
derail, man. Have a good time. Jump in the pool.
This will just go into the bonus footage.
Yeah, for sure.
But like the first people to chew gum, the first person to blow a bubble, how did that come about? Where did that, that takes a concentrated effort to push it out with your tongue and then to exhale into that.
Totally. A pioneer.
They don't get enough credit, man.
I'm glad you asked that question because really what happened was somebody was chewing, they were chewing, and when you seize up, your whole body seizes, your tongue goes out and you're trying to breathe. It came to the perfect tongue to air ratio, and it happened. And quite frankly, that person ended up dying because the medical professionals on site there, they were so blown away by what just happened that the man passed into the afterlife. So it's actually a sad tale.
Also, too, back then, if you could do anything like that, they'd be like, "You're a sorcerer. We got to kill you on sight." You could do anything remotely magical or impressive, they were like, "We're terrified."
Kill him. Oh man, that's so appropriate for
And
today.
speaking of death, guys.
Yeah, the bit. Right, especially so there's a local club does an amateur contest on Wednesday nights, and I didn't see it personally, but I was down there. I did a guest set down there a couple weeks ago, and all the comics that were there were talking about this babe who just went up on stage like scantily clad, just graduated summa cum laude, like, and then was bragging about all how much she loves sex and how she can get laid anytime she wants, and like, you know, and then that was her whole set, and it's like, you have to lose.
Yeah, it's a weird thing right now in comedy. I feel like it for a while. I think it was like it became so endearing to lose, and then people were using it as like a strategy to gain people's affection, and it was like it wasn't real, and I think that was an issue. So now I don't know about you guys, but I am starting to see a lot of comedy where like the people are winning a lot, and I it's a little unsettling because I just don't like to watch. I just find it kind of boring, to be honest.
Yeah, I there has to be a dichotomy of some sort. There has to be some degree of loss. Like, I look at self-deprecating humor as, you know, the audience has to feel good about it. Like, I don't want to get off stage and them think, is he okay? You know,
Yeah,
so I want there to be that balance.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I do that a lot where the audience looks at me and asks if I'm okay, and it's so maddening because you're like, of course I'm okay. I'm telling you this because I think it's funny, you know. And I'm not doing this to be like, woe is me. I hope you guys like this and are charmed by me because of it. It's like, no, I think this is hilarious. This shortcoming is so funny, and you should know about it. And when they give you that like sort of pity stare, oh, nothing. I almost like want to tell them about my bank account and how much actual money I have to make them feel bad.
Like, this is weirder for you than it is for me. I wrote this stuff. I am prepared for anything I'm about to tell you.
Right. Yeah. It's so strange, but anyway, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and the bit. So I've been working on a bit now over the last like month or so, where the world would be a lot more relaxed if everybody was just high all the time. And so the angle that I'm taking is not, I don't want weed to be legal. I want it to be mandatory.
Right.
So, and that gets some resistance from like the older crowd or people that are like, oh, no, I believe in dare. Yeah. Like, you know, my family's cops. And so I've been kind of hitting the nail on the head with that thesis, and then I go into the jokes. But I find that if I can find that way in, without them realizing it, like
I'm always looking for a personal way in, because if you present people with something personal, it's concrete. So then they go, okay, I believe it because I can see it. And then if you say your more abstract thesis after that, they're already on board because they've seen it work in the real world. Because then they go, okay, like you did support your idea up front already. Now I'll kind of go with you with wherever you're going, rather than like sometimes like you don't give them the chance to be off board because they can't be, because they just learned that this exists in the real world.
Very relieved to know that the answer "I don't know" to New York's mayor is a viable answer right now.
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, it's great. But I mean, watching Andrew Yang lose his mind might have been one of my favorite things of all year. I don't know what happened to that guy. I'm like so worried about his mental faculty.
What happened?
He was a viable, but somewhat viable presidential candidate, and then he tried to become the mayor of New York and lost his mind. He was literally like, oh my God, pepperoni. I've never had it in my life. It was so crazy. It's just like, gee, is that a pastrami? Oh boy. Like, it was the funniest thing in the world. It was so weird.
It was in the subway, like, look at these pets that you can just have. Yeah. It's like, what are you?
Yeah, it's like he stopped. It wasn't even like you're not from New York. It's like, I don't know if you're from Earth. This is wild.
It took a
my
turn.
God, yes.
I was on board with that dude for president, and then I was like, oh, he's running for mayor of New York. I bet he's got some great ideas.
I've never seen such a large downfall in someone where like you were like a presidential candidate that people like were into, and then you didn't even get close to mayor of New York. Because your campaign was like nothing like basketball in Manhattan. Like, what? Why are you doing this?
That's because he was practicing his speeches at open mics and they were bombing.
That's true. He was at the stand.
Yeah.
That was what a strange whole thing that is.
Dave Chappelle and Michelle Wolf are all of a sudden just like backing away slowly from their endorsements.
Yeah, I gotta text Michelle about what the hell happened to Andrew.
He tried open mic comedy and was like,
oh man, so
New Yorkers, those people that hang out in Times Square and visit the Statue of Liberty regularly.
Yeah, man.
New York salami.
I gotta know, that was so crazy. It's like, my kids are actually named Yankee and Met, and you're like, what? It's so funny. Oh man, that was so entertaining. Oh, it was awesome.
You won't have Bernie Madoff on the. They don't. Forget it.
That's fine, Jeremy. Don't worry about it, man.
Good. It's good. The bit came to a natural conclusion.
Don't worry, man. I'll never, say
all right.
Say anything to silence. I don't care. I'll give you something.
I was facing my mortality in that moment.
It's fine. Just your death flash before your eyes.
Turn that into a segue, David.
Well, like Andrew Yang said, let's move this humanity forward in this podcast. And
well done.
Yeah, not bad. God, now I'm just thinking of like added beats to this Andrew Yang as a New Yorker.
Yeah,
but man, Bo and Yang missed out on a great sketch.
Yeah, he's been killing it. Yeah, that was one that was like, oh man, you could have got like multiple movie deals over. Dude. I would watch an Andrew Yang sitcom. Like they always like try to make it. Whoever becomes president, they'll always just make a sitcom. Biden's like the only one they haven't. But man, I would watch an Andrew Yang kid in New York sitcom would be the coolest thing.
You think they're not making a Biden one because of too many old jokes? Like how many times can we do the chairlift up the White House stairs?
Yeah, I wonder where it's like, there's so many like better things to make fun of him about, I mean, I get it. Yes, he's old, but like, whenever whenever Biden snaps and gets angry, he always says man, which is always so funny. He's always like, listen here, man. It's like a female reporter that like hounded him about climate change. And he was like, come on, man. Like, it's just like very funny to me.
Listen up, guy.
Yeah. When he stops being president, he takes on this other tone that I'm like, I don't know if I've ever heard anyone kind of like have that tone before.
Yeah.
Well, the last guy was doing, you're a bad reporter.
Yeah.
And I think it's so funny to see the dichotomy. Like now, like CNN used to call him out for that. Now Fox News is calling out Biden for it. And it's like, this is such a push and pull, like fun little exercise in human behavior.
And he does say like, he'll be like, come on, man, this is like this is a quack parade. He like does say things that are like folksy kind of language. That's fun. Yeah, no, there's stuff there, but people are just like, he's 100 years old.
Have the answer. Yeah.
I just hope it's things he's overheard on the train. Like originally his.
Yeah, and I love it.
All right. And
You can't laugh at that.